Right, well, hello parents, and welcome to Clares Court Junior Boys School and site. My name is Justin Spanswick, I'm the Executive Head Teacher of the school, and I've put this video together for you to support the reopening of our school. Now, parents of children in reception Year 1 and Year 6, you've already had to endure one of my videos before to talk about the safety precautions and measures to allow your children to come back safely, as was directed by the Department for Education. And actually this I'd like you to keep watching if that's okay, because it will illustrate to you some of the alterations and changes that we're going to be making as we move to Monday the 22nd of June, that's next Monday. So, as I'm sure you're aware, the DFE have given us now, as a school, some more flexibility in how we want to reopen our school, rather than stating particular year groups. We've had at the moment our boys and girls on the junior boys site, and we did that for a number of reasons, and it's proved exceptionally popular and really successful. And I'm sure you may have heard from friends, if you haven't had children back to school yet, that it's gone very well. The children are really happy, and our aim with everything in terms of reopening has been very much to make sure that our children's well-being comes at the heart of everything, and that safety is the main priority, and everything that we do is within our risk assessments to make sure that we're providing the safest environment for your children. And I'll come to safety measures later on. However, firstly, for parents of children in year 2, 3, 4 and 5, what are we going to be able to offer for you? Well, from Monday the 22nd of June, we would like to open our school to all junior pupils. Year 2, Year 3, Year 4, Year 5, as well as our pupils who are already in reception Year 1 and Year 6. And we'd like to open it from every day until the end of term, which is on the 10th of July. We would like to do this because we feel very strongly that on this site at the Junior Boys School, we can have our bubbles, our safety measures and everything in place, and we can make sure that our pupils are really well looked after. So, we want the boys and girls, as they have been for the past couple of weeks, to all be on the one site, the Junior Boys site. For those of you who know the site well, we have a massive expanse of area and space here, and a large number of rooms as well. And in fact, what we're going to be going through with you is how we're going to segregate the children to make sure everything we do prevents the spread of COVID-19. And that's always going to be our aim, as well as making sure the children come in, have a really meaningful experience. What I can say to you, it's not going to be a hothouse of academic work they're going to be doing. They'll be actually following very similar to what they've been doing at home in the mornings in terms of online lessons. In the afternoon, of course, they will be able to expand out with some creative work, some drama, some sport, some art. It is not compulsory for you to send your children back. And although I think about 92–93% of you have said, yes, you want your children to come back, we completely respect the fact that for some of you it's not possible to send your children back, and you do not have to send them in. You still, and your children will still receive those online lessons and everything else at home that they've been receiving. There will be provision for them if they're not coming in. So we didn't want to make sure we weren't offering one to something and to something else. We want to make sure what we're doing is absolutely right for all of our families. And one thing that I've certainly learned over the past couple of months is that every family is coming from a different situation, a different set of circumstances at home, and it makes it very difficult. Now, one or two parents in the questionnaire said, how come we're all on one site? Why are the girls not using the junior girls site? Let me explain. Firstly, we have the nursery open at the junior girls site, and as you can imagine, socially distancing the nursery is quite a challenge, and they've taken up quite a large area of the junior girls site for the 42 children that are coming in there every single day. We also have, as directed by the government, a percentage of Year 10 and Year 12 students who are on site, making sure they're social distance as well. And again, that wasn't our decision, that's come from the directive from the DFE. We also have senior key worker girls on site. That's the children who have parents as key workers. And in a week or so's time, we're going to be having 25 or 30 more play worker children coming on. That's some of our Year 11s, Year 12s and Year 13s who are preparing themselves for university or for sixth form by doing a number of different courses. It's also, what we call the college site, it's also called the central site, and in fact it's where the majority of our administration staff are in our working, and it's where we have most deliveries to. So actually it's a very busy site already. And with the limitations on parking and with the limitations that sometimes can work when you break up on staffing, we feel that to be as safe as we can be for the children, having all of them here on the one site is the best way to go. And we're very excited about that. And Mr. Richards and Mrs. King can't wait to be welcoming as many of the children who can come in as possible on Monday. So what about the safety measures? Well, you can see behind me we have what we call our hub, and this is with lanes 1, 2 and 3. And these are actually the lanes that you'll be coming to in the mornings when you come and drop off your children. When you come and drop the children off, and I will talk about parking a bit later on, you will in fact have to bring your children in every day. You will have to come out of your car and bring them in, because we'll be doing some screening and some checking of them every single morning. They will have their temperature taken, and they'll be asked a series of 3 questions that you may want to help them with, just about what they've been doing, who they've been in contact with, how are they feeling. And this is our check as best we can to make sure that we can get our children in who are well. And we have, I will say, in the past couple of weeks, had to say to 1 or 2 children, no, you can't come in today if there's a temperature spike, or if maybe there has been something that's been concerning our nurses. And as you know, we're blessed, we have 6 full-time nurses at the school, and we have a large number of them working up on the site here to make sure that we are being as careful as we can be with the well-being and health of your children. So you'll be confronted with, we've got 3 lanes at the moment, probably 4 or 5 lanes next Monday morning, whereby you can come in and you can come and have your sons and daughters checked through, and then you will exit through a different way and back to your car nice and safely. On pickup, it'll be a different system where you don't actually have to get out of your car, and again I can come to that later on. Going back to the safety checks, what will happen once they come in, they will wash their hands. We have a number of different hand washing stations we have hired in to make sure that we are looking after those children, and we'll be educating them on the importance of social distancing, the importance of washing their hands regularly, and we have a number of hand sanitizers and other measures that you would expect us to have all ready. What we also want to make sure is that your children are comfortable with it. And so it's very much about being the nurturing face of the school. Our staff will not be wearing masks. And we would be saying that actually for children to wear masks, although it is their right to, it actually can sometimes be detrimental to their well-being by wearing masks coming in. So in fact, we actually very strongly feel that they should not be coming in wearing masks, because they often don't wear them correctly, they can get moved around, and they often certainly don't take them off properly as well. Back onto safety measures. We would like to please ask that your children come into school without school uniform, in, as I'm wearing at the moment, pretty regular, nice, comfortable clothes, and trainers or some comfortable shoes, not flip-flops please, so that they can do some running around and some games in these clothes as well. They're going to bring 1 bag in, and 1 bag only, and in that bag please there will be their packed lunch, no nuts, we're a no nut school if that's alright, and a water bottle that will be named. The sun cream we want you to put on first thing in the morning please, and make sure it's a high factor or a block. We will not be able to have the children putting sun cream on during the school day. Again, limiting everything we can to stop any spread of any virus. In the same sentence, we've removed a great deal of the fabrics that are in the school that can actually contain the viruses. You'll notice I'm not wearing my lanyard that all the teachers wear, because that again can often pick up some of these germs, and we don't want to do that. We want to limit everything we can to reduce the risk of spreading anything in the school. So, 2 of the most important elements actually of our safety measures and our prevention of spread of COVID-19 is firstly in the education of our children, educating them how to social distance, why, and doing it in such a nurturing way that it doesn't become a problem for them. And secondly, despite the huge expanse that we have of the grounds here at Junior Boys, by having them working in bubbles, and those bubbles are really important. Now the DfE actually states bubbles should be no bigger than 15. At Clares Court, the average size of our bubbles is going to be about 10 or 11. We want to keep the groups as small as possible, and we have the space to be able to do so, and we're very lucky to have the staff to be able to do so as well. Those bubbles will be set by the members of staff, and those bubbles are then set for the rest of term. And I'm afraid, despite it might be the case, well, my daughter's best friend or my son's best friend's in that bubble, The bubbles are set by the form tutors. Hopefully they'll know your children well and will be able to get those groups right, but you cannot move from your bubble. And those bubbles are not just about academic work, that's at playtime. They have their set areas at playtime that they can go into. We've been so impressed actually over the last couple of weeks with the way that the boys and girls, even in reception in year one, have managed to keep that social distance and understand the importance of it as well. But those bubbles will also have a very limited number of members of staff working with them. So we're not having lots of staff coming in and working with them, but just a limited number, again, to make sure that we are being as risk-prevention as we can be. Now, should, for example, there be a possible situation of someone developing symptoms throughout the day, we have ante-rooms and isolation rooms where the pupils can go before you pick them up, and we would then ask you to get them tested if that happens. If, heaven forbid, we did have a positive case of confirmed COVID-19 within a particular bubble, that bubble, all those children and that member of staff, those staff who've been with them, would be required to self-isolate for 14 days. I sincerely hope it wouldn't happen, but again, we are going to follow and we are not going to deviate from those very important guidelines from the DFE, but also from Public Health England and from SAGE as well. Those bubbles are crucial, those safety measures are really, really important. And it's about the education. For example, I'm not wearing my sun hat today. Please make sure that your children bring a sun hat in their bags, named as well, so that we can protect them from the sun, protect them from everything. And hopefully what comes across to you is that we are putting them, their well-being and their safety first, and we will not compromise on that for anything at all. Okay, so one of the safety measures that we are also making sure we adhere to very strictly is that we'll have no visitors on site. That's anyone who's non-essential. So I'm afraid that's parents, I'm afraid yourselves as well. It's only your children that will be able to come actually into the school, as we call it. If you require meetings with teachers, that can happen on a telephone call or a virtual meeting or in some other way. We want to make sure we keep what we call the integrity of the site as best we can do. So drop off in the morning. Drop off is between 8 o'clock and 9 o'clock every morning. That's your window to get the children here. However, for the first morning on Monday the 22nd of June, we anticipate it taking slightly longer because people are learning the ropes of what to do. That window will be between 8 o'clock and 9:30. Currently, the sort of pinch points of traffic are 10 past 8 and quarter to 9, but again, you can drop off when you can, and rather than parents that you're used to the system you've been coming into at the moment, will be a slight change. Rather than coming all the way down the drive to the gates, you will in fact be stopped here, and you will come through on drop off this gate here, and you will then drive down Onion Fields, taking a right hand turn at our gates to get you onto the school ground so that you can park, so you can take your children to the hub to get their screening done. 8 o'clock till 9 o'clock, but the first day it's 8 till 9:30. Please make sure you drive carefully and slowly. There are allocated places to park, there are pathways that you can take when you're walking your children, but please remember it's 5 miles an hour and we want to make sure we have no accidents on site. So, when you come round the gate from our new field, you'll be confronted with 3 choices. You'll either be coming into the lane where you can pick up siblings. So you may have 2 children or 3 or 4 children in the school. They'll be put together and you'll be going through that lane. You may only have a girl or girls to pick up and you'll be coming through to this lane, or you may be here to pick up your son, boys to pick up, and you'll be coming through this lane as well. The pickup time is between 2:45 and 3 o'clock. You may think that's quite a small window, it is, but we can get you through very quickly. Again, driving very carefully please. On both drop-off and pick-up, but obviously especially drop-off, we would ask parents not to congregate in social areas and chatting and talking. Obviously it's lovely to see friends again, but we need parents to be off-site as quickly as possible, and please don't be surprised if you are asked to move on very quickly by one of my staff. Hopefully having a one-way system within the school where you come in from the drive, you come out through the school gates, it'll be a very swift process and your children can be picked up safely and carefully. And so finally, the good news is there's an email accompanying this video which will list all of our safety precautions and all of the details that you'll need to know to make sure that you are able to come to school safely and that you feel that what we're doing at Clare's Court is the right thing for you and your family. Mr. Richards and Mrs. King are very much looking forward to welcoming some of your children back next week. For some of you won't be able to do that, and like I said earlier, we completely respect that, and we sincerely hope that you will still be able to engage in our online and live lessons and meetings and our distance learning. As you can hear behind me, it's quite noisy, it's break time, and we have some boys and girls who are out there playing. A few final points for you to think about. Please make sure you liaise carefully with your child's form tutor should you have any questions, and if you have any questions regarding the opening of the school, do speak please to your divisional head teachers, Mr. Richards or Mrs. King. For me, I would personally like to say thank you so much for being so supportive of Clare's Court School throughout this very difficult time. It's been challenging for you, everyone's in different situations, but we so much value your support, your help and the lovely words of encouragement you've been giving us. The staff have been working so hard to try and make sure that what we're able to provide has been good, and they're excited about being able to come back into school safely as well. So it's a huge thank you. Please stay safe, and I hope this video has given you an indication of what we're going to make sure that your children have a wonderful time and are able to end their academic year off in the way that it should be. Thank you.